It's Friday night. We're just about done for the week. I work 7 days anyway, so that don't matter. You can see this cleaned up really, really well. We got a couple layers of primer on it. It's nice, smooth, and clean. That should be ready to scuff and shoot, which is what we want. We cleaned up the edges a little bit. So this is where we did all the rot. We removed all the rot, put new sheet metal in. She's not perfect, but she's pretty decent. We had to recreate this whole peaked shape. Rubber seal goes against that flat space here all the way around. And the rest of this just sits outside, but they probably have that in there like that for strength. You can see how we blended in the metal piece for where the key tumbler goes through. But I mean, it's not perfect. You'll see a few little dips and dings here. We could do some filler and bodywork a lot of that out. I think we're pretty good though. I think we have it close enough. This is just a little bit of etch primer over top of the metal fab work. So now what we're going to do is we're probably going to put 3 coats of a real fat high build primer on it so that we can block it out. We've got a bit of a transition here. That could have been a little smoother, but we're going to go with it. And here we had to do some welding in. It's not perfect. Might fill that a little bit and sand it again by hand. But this is our first side, and it's not too bad. We're pretty happy with it. We've got lots of meat on here to fold our new edge over. I'm going to have to think about it, but this side we went low, and it's a little rounder, and to me it looks a little more like what might have been stock, but the little bit that we had left that we cut out seemed to show a rounder here, but kind of a harder cut up here, so somewhere between the two. As you can see, this has quite a bend. What we could do is split this and shrink it. However, I'm going to fit that on the car. What I'm actually going to do is get in the trunk with this on the car and take a flashlight. And I'm going to check and see where this sits and where we see light through so we can see roughly what we got for where the rubber's going to be, just to make sure it's there. The other thing we could do, we could put some modeling clay right here, close it, open it, and see how much of it's squished. Just to make sure, because if we are going to cut and re-weld this before we do any, filler primer and leveling it out, it'd be nice to make sure that it's clear. I think it will be, but you don't want to get this all painted and finished, get it on the car later on and be like, oh, now we got to cut it and redo it. So we're pretty happy with it. You can see here where I can pull this in a little bit, and that's okay because this actually tapers out a bit and it shouldn't. So we hammered that to exactly where it needs to be, and basically we just went across this real gentle like with a hammer and just kind of knocked it, because you want it to sit where it goes and be relaxed. Or this side, same effect. I guess from playing with it and cutting the strength out, the skin has come back. But I mean, that's pretty close. And when we seam this, we might put a few tacks of weld. Well, we'll definitely do that, or spot welds, whatever we do. I might drill it and put rosette welds. But the original, it seemed like it was filled. But I mean, this trunk would have been repaired before. It wasn't just a repaint. So what I'd like to do is make it look just like this all the way around, because that's what they had done originally. I can take the paint off here right to the original gold paint. They'd seam sealed it tight. So when we do our skin around, we'll do the same thing. But if you don't want to pull this in too tight, you can always knock it with a hammer a little bit out. And I know if we run a straight edge from here across, it should be 100% plumb straight on this particular car. So we'll do that with our new skin, and if there's any places where it wants to move, we'll gently massage it out just to make sure that it fits. And here, you'll see a little bit of weld because we didn't bother putting any body fill there because we know we're going to have to knock that with a hammer later. Anyway, that's it for this week. Cheers.